St. Athanasius goes in a long series of the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Ghost is God. But not three different gods, but one God. And the St. Athanasius Creed goes on the same thing, the same line of the truths of the Blessed Trinity, professing it and making those distinctions. But it's important for us because a lot of modern man will say, well, how does that affect my life? Well, it does. Because if you profess the true faith, this affects your life here on earth by living in the state of grace, and for all eternity, because we must believe this to save our soul. This is the true God. And this shows in this light how horrible a sin is the sin of ecumenism, condemned by Pius XI in his encyclical Mortalium Animos, condemned by Christ himself, who says, who does not believe will be condemned. So we must believe these Catholic truths. It's not just, how can I build a bridge with this in practicality? We must believe these supernatural truths, even though they're above us. So let me just conclude this sermon with Archbishop Lefebvre's own words on this sin of ecumenism. It is the sin of our age. It is the sin that has gripped the Vatican, modernist Rome. It is the sin that's in the heads of these last 5 popes, from John the 23rd on to Pope Francis, and they're crusading this sin. They're crusaders for this heresy, which is the praying together of all false religions. So let's hear some sanity from Archbishop Lefebvre. And this is why again and again and again, we cannot make peace, we cannot seek recognition from Rome that professes these errors. It's impossible. So we wait until Rome comes back to the faith and pray for it. Archbishop Lefebvre, April 14th, 1978. Ecumenism is not the Church's mission. The Catholic Church is not ecumenical. She is missionary. The goal of the missionary church is to convert. The goal of the ecumenical church is to find what is true in errors and to remain at this level. It is to deny the truth of the church. Archbishop Lefebvre, May 16, 1978, in a Cône. And this, it is really the modern heresy that we can really designate under this new term, for it really seems that there is a new heresy in addition to modernism, liberalism, and all those old errors. It seems to me that we can define this modern error, ecumenism, this false ecumenism. December 21st, 1984, Archbishop Lefebvre. Then came this abominable ecumenism, which is nothing but the means to penetrate liberal ideas within the Church, because it is the principle of religious liberty, a principle which is in the Constitution, in the declarations of human rights. It's in the Constitution of the government, it's in the Constitution of the Church by Vatican II. And lastly, April 14th, 1978, we want to be in perfect unity with the Holy Father, but in the unity of the Catholic faith. Bishop Follet forgot this. Because there is only this unity that can unite us. But not this kind of ecumenical union, a sort of liberal ecumenism, because I think this is what best defines modern tendencies and what we could almost express as the modern heresy. As I had the occasion to say in Essen, I think that what best defines the whole crisis in the Church is really this liberal ecumenical spirit. I say liberal ecumenism because there is a certain ecumenism that, if properly defined, could be acceptable. But liberal ecumenism, such as is practiced by the present Church, and especially since Vatican II, necessarily carries true heresies, because it just acknowledges all religions have an element of truth. and which is actually true, but then you can't unite them. They have to come to the true religion. And we must profess this, and we must spread this. We must spread this religion, spread the faith. Think of the love of the neighbor that we owe to our neighbor, the ones you bump in the stores, the ones you work with, the ones who you're related to by blood or relation. We all have a duty towards them. We all are our brother's keeper. So maybe they won't listen to our sermons and our preaching and our trying to tell them, look, you got to change your life. You're living in sin. You got to straighten out. You got to come back to the faith or convert to the faith. Most people won't listen. But we certainly can pray for them. We can certainly do sacrifices for them. And this is part of the charity Our Lady of Fatima demanded from us, because I think she foresaw this also, that most men can care. They don't want to hear the truth. They're busy with their own life. Don't bother me with these ideas. But she did say, help me save souls from hell by praying for these souls and doing penance for them. Offer sacrifices. And the best penance, of course, is our daily duties of state, doing them well and out of love for God. Because for many souls, that it's only the grace of God that will save them. And it's a good practice to hand out the miraculous medal, because quite honestly, as a priest, I hand out many medals, and people they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen. They already think they're happy in their own false beliefs. But you give them a miraculous medal, Our Lady promised through this medal, through this image, she will pour out her grace. It's just one of those motherly things that she just touches their heart, touches their soul. And maybe later in life, the grace of just holding this medal, looking at it, saying the little prayer around it, and seeing the other side with the cross, and Mary at the foot of the cross, and the 12 stars. What you got in that miraculous medal is the book of Genesis and the book of the Apocalypse, and everything in between. Because the woman to crush the head of the serpent, she's at the front of the medal. And the woman of the Apocalypse, clothed in the sun with the 12 stars around her, that's on the back of the medal. And the two hearts of Jesus and Mary at the foot of the cross. So it's deep, that medal. It's a whole sermon. It's a whole treatise in a little symbol, a little image. So try to reach souls, and the green scapular also. And we must strive to save our neighbor and bring them to the love of the true God. As St. Augustine did when St. Gregory sent him to the shores of England, your beautiful country, and they were open to the grace. And England became Catholic. And it was strongly Catholic up until 1530s. So may Our Lady win back this nation to her Son's heart, which is prophesied. O Mary conceived without sin. O Mary conceived without sin. O Mary conceived without sin. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.